morning, guys. I hope you're having a nice Monday or Tuesday morning, whichever day you're watching this, or it could be Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, or Saturday or Sunday. I hope you're having a nice morning, no matter where you are or when you're watching this. I'm going to start off with our devotions this morning. Today, our name for God is the Lord my rock, Jehovah Tsuri. Tsuri, isn't that an interesting name? Jehovah Tsuri. And this one is called, I'm going to try to scoot in real close here, Dreams and Dreamers. Lord, my rock, I call out to you for help. Psalm 28:1. And this is the story is from Genesis 37, 39 through 47. So a bunch of chapters in Genesis. Listen to my dreams, Joseph told his 11 brothers and his father Jacob. In Joseph's dreams, which came from God, 11 bundles of wheat and then 11 stars, plus the sun and the moon, all bowed down to Joseph. But Joseph's dreams made his brothers angry. Do you think you're better than us? They asked. Joseph's brothers were already upset with him. They were jealous because their father had given Joseph a beautiful, colorful coat. One day, Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers who were out in the fields tending sheep. Here's our chance, the brothers said. They grabbed Joseph, tore off his colorful coat, and threw him into a pit. Then, when traders with a camel caravan came by on their way to Egypt, the brothers sold Joseph to the traders. Then they went home and lied to Jacob. A wild animal killed Joseph, they said. So there's the picture of them throwing him into the pit. It says, God helps us. He turns our problems into something good. Oh, I like that a lot. In Egypt, Joseph became a servant. Sorry, I'm trying to get it the best angle for you. He worked for Potiphar, the captain of the king's guard. God was with Joseph and made all his work turn out well. So Potiphar said, I'm putting you in charge of everything in my house. Then one day, even though Joseph had done nothing wrong, Potiphar became angry with him. Into the prison you go, Potiphar said. Poor Joseph. But God was still with him. The keeper of the prison put Joseph in charge of all the prisoners, and God made all Joseph's work turn out well. So did God ever leave Joseph? No. Two of the prisoners, the king's baker and the king's cupbearer, had dreams they didn't understand, but God showed Joseph the meaning of their dreams. When the king's cupbearer got out of prison, Joseph said, please remember me. But the cupbearer forgot all about Joseph until 2 years later, when the king had strange dreams. I know who can tell you what your dreams mean, the cupbearer said. His name is Joseph. Bring Joseph here now, the king ordered. The prison guards quickly brought Joseph to see the king. Tell me your dreams, Joseph said, and God will tell me what they mean. Joseph listened carefully to the king, and then he said, God is showing you what he is going to do. 7 years of good crops will be followed by 7 bad years, when food will not grow. So choose someone wise who can store up grain throughout the land before the bad years come. You are that wise man, Joseph, the king said. God is with you and makes you wise. So I am putting you in charge of all the land of Egypt. For 7 good years, Joseph stored up grain. When the bad years came, the people were hungry, and he sold grain to them. People came from far away to buy grain. Even Joseph's brothers came, but they didn't recognize Joseph. Oh, my brothers, Joseph cried. I am Joseph. Don't be upset that you sold me into Egypt. God has helped me. He sent me here and put me in charge of all the land of Egypt so I could keep you alive. Go now and bring your families and my father here to live with me in Egypt. So, what does it mean? Have you ever climbed on playground equipment made of rope or walked across a trampoline? It's fun to try to balance on the soft surface, but when we have problems at home or at school, we want something steady to hold on to and help us. One of God's names in the Bible is the Lord my rock. Rocks are firm, strong, and solid. When we have a problem or need help, God steadies us and protects us like a rock. We can hold on to him He will be with us and make things work out in a good way, just as he did for Joseph and all of Joseph's family. There is no rock like our God, 1 Samuel 2:2. So remember, the name for God is the Lord my rock, Jehovah Tsuri. Dear God, when I need help, I will call out to you, and you will help me like a strong rock. Thank you for making things work out right. I love you, God. Amen. Oh, another really good one. I just love this book so much. All right, well, let's dig into a little bit of reminders I have for you, starting with first grade. I'll get my notes here so that I remember what I wanted to talk about. All right, so first grade, a couple things I wanted to remind you about today was, and I know we just talked about this, but it couldn't hurt to remind you again because, you know, right? It's good to remember. And was adding suffixes to words. So we're adding ed onto some of your words on your phonics paper today and tomorrow. So I just want to remind you that when we add ed, like with the word jog, we have a short vowel and one consonant. So what do we need to do before we add the ed? What do we need to do? Right, we have to double the consonant and add the suffix. Double the consonant and add the suffix, right? All right, so the same thing would be with the word hug. I've got hug. It's a short vowel with one consonant. So I'm going to double the consonant and add the suffix. Hugged. I hugged my mom before breakfast. So there you go. Or I jogged around the backyard. Maybe you should do that today. It's kind of foggy right now, but I think today's going to be a nice day, so it'll be a good day to go jog outside. Although, who knows what the weather will be like, but I hope you get to go outside a little bit today. All right, the next thing I want to talk to you about, and I have to move the camera, so I hope it doesn't get too wobbly. Whoa, oh my goodness, we're moving across the room. And now I don't know where I'm going to set this while I'm talking to you about the thermometer. So I wanted to remind you, let's see, how close is it? Pretty close. Okay. Well, I just wanted to remind you with our thermometer that the big lines are counting by tens. See, you have a 0 here. Let's count them together. 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Oops, you can't see it. 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. And then I also wanted to remind you that the little lines are counting by whats? What are those little lines counting by? They're counting by 2s. So we could count by 2s together. Here we go, starting at the 0. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40. Okay? So I just wanted to remind you that those little lines count by 2s because you're going to be practicing your thermometers on your math paper coming up on the next couple days. So I just wanted to make sure that you remembered how to do that. All right, let's see. Now, second grade, going back over here to where I was, because that's where everything else is. Okay, so second grade, I had a couple things I wanted to review with you, and you have some new concepts coming on in math, which I probably will move to a separate video because I think it's going to take us a little bit longer to talk about it, and I don't want the video to be crazy long. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to talk to you about second grade was contractions. I'm going to drop everything now. All right, was contractions. And you've already started doing some work with contractions, I believe. And I lost my marker. We'll see if this one works. So you have contractions. Remember that a contraction is 2 words put together, not like a compound word where you have 2 words to make one big word. The contraction, the 2 words come together, but we put an apostrophe where some of the letters are taken out. So if I have he and will, and I want to combine them as a contraction, the W-I gets taken away and we put an apostrophe in its place. We squeeze it together. So it has he, apostrophe L-L, heel. He'll be going to the park after lunch. I don't know, I'm making up some random sentence in my head. Okay. Or we could have I and will. Again, that W-I gets taken away and we put it in, we put an apostrophe in its place. So we have I apostrophe L-L. I'll have some chocolate syrup with my ice cream, please. There's another one. Ooh, yum. All right. But we also could have, those ones all have the word will, but we also could have the word have, all right, in a contraction. So I could have, now I'm going to say have like all the time. I could have, let's see, they have. And if I have they, not right now. If I have they and have, sorry, someone came in the room. I could squish those together. But for have, we actually take away the H and the A and put our apostrophe. So I have they, apostrophe V-E. They've had colds all week. So they have had colds all week. Or we could have I and have. We take out that H-A and we put an apostrophe. I've been missing you. I've been missing you all week long. So I have or I've. All right, so with the have, you take away the H and the A. With will, you take away the W and the I. And that apostrophe takes its place. All right, then moving on to math. I'll do a little bit of math on this video, and then I'm going to make another video about division. Ooh, that's our new thing. All right, so a couple things. I'm going to change out my marker because I don't think it's going to last much longer. So first thing I wanted to tell you was that with our Roman numerals, we have two new Roman numerals that we're going to be doing this week. You have the letter D and the letter M. All right, the D stands for 500. And the M, what do you think the M stands for? Some of you might know. The M stands for 1,000. All right. So remember, you can put those Roman numerals together to make other numbers. Like I could put an M and a D together. I could put M and D together, and that would equal 1,000. Oops. Miss Upraise, what are you doing? 1,500. There we go. That's better. That's what it would equal. Not what I was doing. I don't know what I was doing. All right. Remember that if you put the smaller one after, it's adding, but if you put the smaller number before, it's taking away. So if I could have an M and XX. So I'm adding 1020 to the 1,000. So it would be 1,020. All right. That's what I wanted to talk about that. And then you're also going to be subtracting in the thousands place. All right. So you're subtracting, but you're renaming or borrowing. Your paper does say borrowing in the thousands place. So if I have 7,398, that's a big number, minus 5,824. Where do I always start, second grade? That's right, in the ones place. See, I even have my chart up here for you to see. Here's my ones place all the way to the right, okay? So I start in the ones place. 8 minus 4 equals 4. 9 minus 2. So far I can do all these, right? Because the larger number is on the top. I can subtract. 9 minus 2 is 7. 3 minus 8. Now the 3 is a smaller number, so now I have to do my renaming or my borrowing, all right? So don't forget what you have to do. Cross out the 7 and make it a 6. And I'm going to cross out my 3 and make it a 13. I take that 1 from here and I put it over here. So now I can do 13 minus 8, which equals 5. I'm going to bring my comma down. And then 6 minus 5 is 1. So don't forget to have, or don't forget, you have to do this step first. You have to cross out the one number and make it a less number before you do this. Some of you I know have been skipping this part and only doing this. You have to do both parts, okay? And sometimes we're going to have subtraction problems where we're going to be renaming more than one place value. Here we renamed from our hundreds and our thousands. We took from our thousands to add to our hundreds, but sometimes you might have to do more than that. If I have 8,320, another big number, minus 5,631. I start here with 0 minus 1. If I have nothing, nothing, can I take 1 away from it? I can't. So I have to take from my tens place. I'm going to cross out my 2 and make it a 1. Cross out my 0 and make it a 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. 1 minus 3. If I have 1, can I take 3 away from it? No, only if I like break my finger into 3 pieces, but I don't want to do that. So I can't do that. So I cross out my 3. Now I'm taking from my hundreds place. I cross out my 3 and it becomes a 2. Now my 1 becomes an 11. 11 minus 3 is 8. 2 minus 6. Can I do that? I cannot. The 2 is smaller than the 6. So I cross out my 8 and make it a 7. And my 2 becomes a 12. 12 minus 6 is 6. Put my comma in. And 7 minus 5 is 2. So on this one, look at all that crossing out I did. Oh my goodness. Here we only had to borrow from the thousands place for the hundreds, but on this one I had to borrow from my tens, then I had to borrow from my hundreds, and then I had to borrow from my thousands. So sometimes we have to do more than one set of borrowing or renaming, all right? Okay, I'm going to do a separate video about division, so you'll have to check that out, and that's an important one because this is a new concept that we're learning second grade. So make sure you take a look at the division video I'll be posting a little bit later. All right, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.